Hey you guys, it's Dana and it's Tuesday, so we're going to talk about money. And today I wanted to talk about becoming an automatic millionaire. All right, so if you follow me, if you follow my channel, then you know that I'm really big Dave Ramsey fangirl. Obviously. Okay, but I also do read other financial books. I do. I actually really like nonfiction. I read a lot of things. Personal growth, spirituality, and then finances. So I do read other authors. And I feel that Dave's baby steps just speak to me the most. But I'm always looking for something else and for some other ideas. I think it's important not just to listen to one person, to take in everything you can and then make your own decision about what really speaks to you. What do you listen to and you say, oh, that makes sense? That you have to have that moment where you feel like, yes, that just speaks to you in some way. All right, so I heard about David Bach, who wrote The Automatic Millionaire. I think that book first came out in 2004. He was on the Oprah show, and then in 1999, he wrote a book for women. Think women, smart women are rich or something like that. I'll put it up. And so he's written a couple books, but I just heard about him recently from a few podcasts I was listening to. Anyway, so I read The Automatic Millionaire, and I think he has some really good points in the book. So I wanted to talk about that, about what he says to become an automatic millionaire, because maybe you've never heard of him either. And there's a couple things that I don't agree with what he says. But first, let's just talk about his main thing, which is to pay yourself first. That's his main advice. Pay yourself first, pay yourself first, pay yourself first. And he might have been one of the first people to really say this. I mean, I think most of us at this point have heard that advice, to pay yourself first. It seems pretty like, okay, yeah. However, he is big into automating things, right? So if you're going to pay yourself first, he believes you should, first of all, have direct deposit. Your paycheck should be not an actual paper check. I guess a lot of people maybe still get paper checks, but if you get a paper check and you cash it, if you go or you just deposit it into your bank, you are less likely to save a portion of that money. Whether in retirement funds or in just a savings account, you're less likely to if it's an actual check. So you want to set up your direct deposit through your employer. And then once you have the direct deposit set up, then you can set up 401k, where automatically a portion of that will go into a retirement account. And his recommendation is 10%. And then there's a lot of people who say, I don't have any money. I don't have any extra money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't put money aside into a retirement account. And he, I think, coined the term the latte factor. So he talks a lot about, well, if you can afford to buy a latte every day, then obviously you do have some extra money. So for just $5 to $10 a day, if you put that money away into your 401k, you would be a millionaire. So if you automate it and put it away over, a long stretch of time, then, you will. So you have to find, what is your latte? What's your latte factor? Is it you buy lunch every day, or whatever you buy, newspapers or stick of gum, I don't know, something you purchase that, if you look at your budget, if you look at what you are spending money on, I'm sure that there is something you can cut, he says, to put into your 401k. And then a lot of times with matching, your employer might have some kind of percentage of matching. That's how you can become a millionaire. So automating it is the key. So you're going to automate that. He also recommends to automate your savings for your emergency fund. His recommendation is 5%. So you will put that aside. And then he says you should have 6 months all the way up to 24 months of expenses saved in a separate emergency fund. So that would be automated. Also, you're going to automate your bills. He says to automate your bills, everything, your cable bill, your electric bill. He says make it all automatic, so you don't have to think about it at all, and that way you won't have any late payments, because if you're busy, maybe you're on vacation and you forget that your bill's due, you're going to miss the due date, and then you'll get a $30 late fee, and then that's costing you money. So he says to automate all of your bills. Personally, I don't like to do that because I like to be on top of what is in the bill. I think if you automate everything too much, you might not be aware if they're overcharging you for something. And I like to know every month as far as, what what our electric bill is doing. Is it getting too high, too low, cable, whatever? I want to look at it every month so I know what's happening with those bills. But that's his advice, is to automate those bills. He also says to have a dream account. So have an automatic set amount of money put aside in a dream account. Your dream account is for whether you're saving for a home, for college, maybe for a vacation. But David Bach says the number one mistake that everybody makes is to not automate everything. Because if you automate it, then it will happen. If you don't automate it, you're less likely to save money, and then you won't ever become a millionaire because you'll just spend that money and it'll be gone. Now, the one big thing that David Bach says that I don't agree with is he talks about how important it is to buy a home if you want to be a millionaire, which I agree with. However, he seems really against renting, really against it. He thinks that it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much debt you have, that you need to buy a house, even if that means that you are going to have $0 down. If you borrow 100% of the money, he thinks that you should buy. You should be a homeowner. And I totally agree that homeownership is really good. It's really important towards building wealth. But I think that renting is essentially you're buying patience until you can build up your savings account for a down payment, or your savings account in general, or pay off debt. Because if you do buy a home and you still have a lot of payments with debt, and you don't have any money in your savings account, I do feel that something will happen with your home that you may not be able to afford to fix, such as your sewer line going and your roof, and certain repairs can be tens of thousands of dollars, which can really break you if you don't have any money saved anywhere and you have tons of debt payments. So I disagree with that. I think that sometimes renting can be a really, really good thing. And I think that homeownership can be more expensive than renting just because of all those factors that you don't think about, things that break in the home. And it was very frightening for us when we bought our house because we did have debt and we didn't have any savings and we did have a lot of things break. And that's why I feel very strongly against buying with no money down and no savings and tons of debt. I think that that's a bad idea. But that's my personal opinion, and that's where I disagree with his advice. So if you have read some other financial books other than Dave Ramsey, because I've read all those books, then please leave them down below in the comments, and I'd be happy to read them and to comment on them and do a video about it. And if it's your first time here, be sure to subscribe. I'm here every single Tuesday talking all about money, and we are a family of 6 living in the Philadelphia area. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.